Hey, Omega.
What?
I keep having this reoccurring nightmare about this buzzer.
Don't care. But go on.
Oh, aren't you in a pissy mood? What? Batista wrestled your Jimmys?
Well, I did watch Raw after all.
Oh boy, this is going to be a good episode. Who was on Raw, Omega?
The piss man himself.
That segment. Alright, I'm not even going to fucking make a joke here. Let's get started with the show. RMD's here.
Hi.
I got it on my front You'll be good at laughing times if you only listen to get serious. Get serious. Get serious.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode number 104 of Woo Get Serious. Oh, it's number 103, excuse me. 103 of Woo Get Serious. My name is Gunner, and that is Omega BR.
You know, when Brock tripped over that monitor, all I kept thinking was, why do they keep using those? They've got to be like 30 years old by now.
Well, I guess you use technology that works, right? And it's Vince McMahon, damn it. Joining us this week is our wonderful technical producer, Mr. Yankum DDS. Hey-o! And we have a couple guests as well, and joining us is the one and only Matt Jester.
And Batista is back, and now we have to walk inside his pit of danger. Or is that Melina's? I get confused.
How big is it, RMD?
Certainly not as big as my gut.
Apparently. So let's start with something unexpected here, as RMD's appearance has been unexpected for at least myself. We're going to start with the news. Okay, so Brian Alvarez, Mr. Brian Alvarez himself, reports that WWE was downright embarrassed by the crowd at Michigan State doing a huge yes chant at halftime at the basketball game with Ohio State 2 weeks ago. This pretty much forced their hand and turned Daniel Bryan back against the Wyatts, which wasn't supposed to happen so soon, and was likely to have stretched to Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania itself. Now, they're now banking on a huge arena-wide yes chant at the big event, which if they've been paying attention for the past couple of years, that's been happening. I mean, it's ever since 18 seconds, it's been happening. Rather than Rey Mysterio Sin Cara Lucha mass crowd, which has been mixed. Bryan suffered a concussion in the cage match last week on Raw and nearly missed the Royal Rumble, but was medically cleared. That sounds like a little bit okay for me, but they were offering refunds to anyone in attendance at the Hammond, Indiana live event due to his inability to perform, drawing very, very heavy boos. Okay.
Yeah, I really didn't see that Lucha Mask crowd. I think we're going for the record or something like that. I really think that happened because
Robot MD. Robot MD.
So basically what we've got here is 6 months too late. They realize that Bryan is a star. And not from their own crowds, mind you, but from an unrelated sports crowd. And then they almost, in a karmic, ironic, just, one of those words, twist of fate, they almost lose him due to a concussion, which, thank goodness he's alright for his sake, and ours, of course, but, I'm still not confident they're gonna put him in the spot, if you know what I mean, but at least things are starting to happen.
As long as he passed impact testing, he should be just fine. And I am a little worried that he's coming back this soon, so it may have been just a minor concussion, but if they're trying to cover up for something just to get him back in the show, then this is something we really need to worry about. But
but I'm not convinced they're not done screwing with us yet as far as Dick Butt goes.
I've got to believe, you gotta believe, man. See where this goes, guys.
Oh, I believe in something else. A lobster head.
Oh, Jesus, don't get me started.
Hey, what's wrong with gingers?
They snap.
That was a terrible movie.
And I regret the fact that you beat me to that joke.
It was the worst werewolf movie since The Howling. Or whatever the previous Robin Williams movie was.
Speaking of the wolves.
Alright, well, as you may have seen, the American Wolves, or the Wolves, as they'll be known now in TNA, officially debuted during the first half of Genesis last week. Although they won't be wrestling for a couple of weeks, instead heading up this new storyline, claiming they were signed by a new investor behind Dixie Carter's back, who, I guess, is allowed to do those things. Said storyline might be a jab at Jeff Jarrett, who still retains a minority stake in the company. They've signed a one-year deal and can do approved indie dates by the company, like most others. But they can't appear on any TV, DVD, or iPay-per-view. The Observer had reported that MVP was headed to TNA, although he denied it on Twitter. Wes Briscoe and Jay Bradley were quietly released, many believing some of the other leftovers from Aces and Eights might be next, including that dastardly Garrett Bischoff. And finally, Tommy Dreamer is back working with TNA as an agent, filling the role that Jeff Jarrett left.
That's actually the most decent hire that they've had in a long time, considering that Tommy Dreamer is such a bro.
Exactly. Good that they've got a little muscle in an agent role.
And he knows his shit. Tommy Dreamer is he's not one of those brilliant wrestling minds like somebody like, Mick Foley or Jericho or Cornette, but he knows his shit.
I beg to differ, but okay.
You do think he's up there with?
Yep.
I do too. It's Tommy Dreamer. It's not like he's some
It's not like
guy
you're talking
that
about Balls
only has
Mahoney
one or
here.
two moves.
I mean, I love Balls. Balls is a great guy, but
Yeah.
You
that's a
heard it
great
here
point.
first,
He's not
folks.
Balls Mahoney.
Gunner loves balls.
I met him. He's a really good guy.
Oh, speaking of Gunner, let's talk about Wes Briscoe and Jay Bradley. Do they ever work in the business again?
And doing random indie dates, saying that they were in TNA. This just raised their indie price. That's all.
But yeah,
Briscoe-
but they were
Briscoe will-
undercarters in TNA, though.
You could still say that you're a TNA star and you're up your indie price. Anytime you're on national television, it ups your indie price. Just saying.
That is true, but then you have to realize that this was a angle that they killed too soon because it's TNA, and they weren't really the stars of the show.
Doesn't matter. TV. Wes Briscoe will be back in WWE within the next 2 years.
I was gonna say maybe they could get an audition with $5 wrestling, but they might be underqualified.
Ooh!
Ouch.
Okay, that's a bit low.
Speaking of agents and stuff, it was Bully Ray's I hear Bully Ray's sort of doing the half-agent thing, as a talent too. He and Dave Lagana were kind of the guys who pushed for Dreamer to come back in. They're trying to do more office stuff like that lately, instead of just using whoever's available, basically.
Alright, so we are going to transfer, we're going to switch over here. Speaking of office work and some bullshit, it said that when the WWE Network launches, only about 1.5% of WWE's total video library will be accessible, and that very, very little content will be old territorial footage.
Oh, boo! I knew it.
Boo! Give me more. While WWE will add new content weekly, they will also remove content from time to time. There will be very little content from the defunct 80s promotions, with concentrations on the big three, WWE, WCW, and ECW in the 90s and 2000s. However, internal communication indicates that WrestleMania will always be included as a free part of the subscription in future years. No word if this year's Elimination Chamber will be a part of the subscription in future years, or will be available immediately as the network debuts the day after it. In other TV news, CM Punk and The Miz will be featured on At Midnight on Comedy Central February 12th, while Chris Jericho will appear on March 3rd.
Now, I want to say a couple things about this. First, I know a lot of people are upset about it only being 1.5% of the total library, but you have to remember just how big of a library they have. They probably have, I would say maybe 70,000 hours of footage entirely, so when you take it down to 1.5%, you're still looking at 1,000 hours of programming. Now, let me do a quick calculation.
Here we go.
The problem that you're going to be having with that, with the programming like that, is that it's going to be a lot of repeats, a lot of stuff we've already seen, and there's going to be some edits because, well, our favorite wrestler that we shall not name is going to be.
Didn't they already say it was going to be unedited, though?
Yes.
You can put a warning on there. Put a warning, attention parents, this program features a convicted murderer who killed his child and his wife with his bare hands.
He was never convicted.
This is true. And it is official that he will be in the he will be not featured per se, but they won't edit him out of anything.
Yeah, and
they did.
Then the other thing you have to think about is it's 1.5% of the footage. But with my math, if they have 70,000 hours of footage, 1.5% equals roughly 30 hours of footage per day. How many hours does a day have? I rest my case.
Yeah, I mean, and this is just the beginning, They'll
might
add
still
more.
be
They might take it
digitizing
away.
other footage. You never know.
And by the way, they did say that they would air a disclaimer before overly violent events and events that featured Benoit in some, major capacity. So
Yeah, that's probably because some of the crazy stuff that's been going on in ECW in the 90s, just so they can get the chair shot heard around the world in there, which Raven probably is still correcting himself from.
That's true.
I'm kind of surprised they don't air the "Don't Try This at Home" thing every week. They do it every so often, but not every week.
Well, I mentioned crazy earlier, and let's keep on the crazy thing. The potential match with Ryback, what WWE had planned for Goldberg, is close to dead due to disagreements on money. Ryback's recent crazy tweets are part of an initiative to get people talking about what happens on social media during non-TV days, which many think Ryback is perfect for since they believe he's legitimately nuts. Chris Jericho is rumored to be returning to WWE after elevator ads were spotted in Toronto advertising him. The Ultimate Warrior's new Legends deal is said to be more extensive than usual. Letters have surfaced online this week of Ultimate Warrior holding Vince McMahon up for money heading into the 1991 SummerSlam. Although Vince's response is cordial and agrees to his terms, Warrior would be suspended after the event. Pittsburgh was hoping to build a Bruno Sammartino statue near the statue of NHL legend Mario Lemieux at the site of the old Civic Arena. However, the Penguins, who own the land, refused to let anyone but Lemieux be memorialized on the grounds, so a new location is all that's needed.
So, going back to the old segment, it's going to be interesting to see Miz and Jericho on Queris Hardwick's at midnight. That's a funny show.
I think I'd rather see a Bruno Sammartino statue rather than Punk, Miz, Jericho, and everything. As funny as they are, they aren't legends like Sammartino.
I would rather see Ziggler in Miz's place. I think Punk and Jericho are funny, but Miz, I think, might,
I think Miz has proven himself at doing those sorts of things, going on all the late night talk shows and everything that he's done.
Maybe it's just his on-screen character that's in my mind,
speaking of Miz, what do you guys think of his role on the commentary?
I don't know. I think if they really pushed for him to kind of become the new JBL, then maybe it could work. But they're kind of... He would really have to dedicate to it, you know. It's not like... Which he really could. I mean, it's, you know, he headlined WrestleMania, for goodness sake. You know, it's not like he needs to wait around for that, you know, title shot he never got, or whatever.
Is anyone really upset about Ryback and Goldberg potentially not having a match?
I have a feeling that, you know, the Ryback-Goldberg thing would end very poorly, because Goldberg wasn't known as being a very safe worker, ask Bret Hart. Ryback is flat out dangerous in the ring.
Damn straight.
I kind of want to see it just for the spectacle, but I don't really care if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's what people wanted from Goldberg-Lesnar, and we all know how that came out, so perhaps this is for the best.
Oh, it could have been Botchamania Spot of the Year.
I think if it was Goldberg in his prime, that would be one thing. But Goldberg now, I mean, I'm sure he's in great shape and all for his age. But as far as, you know, getting in the ring and performing, I'm not so sure.
Well, the fact of the matter is they don't really need it to happen. They have enough marquee stuff happening now with Hogan probably coming back and everything. So... Alright, we'll wrap up the news here with some
there was one thing we missed. The Warrior letter. I haven't got a chance to read it yet.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to talk about that at some length, because this is a real doozy.
Yeah, he's weird.
Let's get this last news bit out there. Omega, take it away.
I can
The original Sin Cara, who is... He actually announced in Lucha's 2000 magazine that he will not return to WWE and instead will wrestle on February 1st at his own Sin Cara gym in Mexico City for the 1-year anniversary of its opening. Stephanie McMahon thanked Eve Torres and her husband for letting her and Triple H participate in a martial arts class recently and teaching her the quote-unquote Matt Hardy choke, apparently a move Eve used on Hardy back when he made a move on her a few years back during a drunken UK tour. And finally, you might have noticed Dean Ambrose smiling a bit when Jake the Snake came out and put the snake on him during Old School Raw. Well, apparently he was doing that not because he was marking out, so to speak, but because the snake had defecated on his chest, something CM Punk whispered to him as he was down.
That's funny. That was the funniest thing about that whole segment, and I enjoyed every second of that. But Matt Hardy making a move on Eve? Who?
How much you want to bet the Matt Hardy choke involves grapes?
Oh, lordy. You had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah, there's definitely a grapevine involved in that. I mean, if you're going to throw on a choke, you might as well throw on the grapevine, right?
There's like 3 jokes in there, and that's really like layered and complicated, but I'm not going to even try.
Several bad puns later.
Either that or I'm going to start singing Heard It Through the Grapevine here in a couple of seconds.
Oh my fucking God.
You know, I'm reading his Wikipedia, and I had forgotten that it was actually September 12th, 2010, that WWE had confirmed they sent him home from a European tour, and that's when he started posting all those crazy YouTubes on his channel.
So Eve put Matt Hardy in the chokehold and caused brain damage, and that is what caused the freak out.
No, you're wrong. You're incorrect, sir. It is not because of that. It is because he realized that Eve was a man.
Oh, here we go.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
Hey, he's slapped too many tornadoes before.
All right, slapnutses, let's move on.
All right, everyone, we're going to wrap up with this news segment. We're going to get into the 15-minute
Hold on. We have to talk about the Warrior letter thing.
Oh yeah, the Warrior letter thing. What is this Warrior letter thing?
Okay, here's what happened. Apparently, and this is according to various dirt sheets, the letters that Ultimate Warrior sent to Vince McMahon in 1991 asking for more money came out and hit the interwebs. And this is one of the more interesting things because I think that this is one of those little wrestling history things that needs to be addressed. Ultimate Warrior obviously was not happy going through 1991 with the treatment that was happening between the company and between the company and Warrior, and he was looking at Hogan and being jealous of Hogan and everything, completely forgetting that Hogan was the guy. He had made himself the guy through the 80s and going into the 90s. So what happened was Warrior basically shook down Vince for more money. The content of the letters are long and drawn out into your typical Warrior method. Here's the good parts.
Damn it, RMD.
I think that was just me. Basically, he was asking for more money. Let me get the quote.
$50,000. That's right.
Look,
Yeah, take it easy, Bender. You're drunk.
He wanted $550,000, which I'm not sure what that would be adjusted for inflation, but
that would probably be probably right around 750 right now if I were to take a stab at it.
And that's just for the WrestleMania payoff. He wanted that for just WrestleMania. He wanted 4 days off every other time off period. And he wanted the same pay cut as Hulk Hogan got on all pay-per-views. Saturday night main event, Friday prime time, house shows.
Prime time.
Yeah, and he wanted proof as such. The same pay cut as Hulk Hogan with relationships to WrestleMania 5, 6, and 7 when he was a top draw. He wanted numbers and proof of monies done on 1/900 Hulk, and likewise the same pay and the same pay on all forms of merchandising.
Alright. A rough estimate, conservative figure says that when you increase that value of $550,000 with the consumer price index from 1991 to today, that's just short of $1 million in today's dollars.
I am not convinced. I loved the Warrior back in the day, but I'm not convinced he's worth $1 million.
But that's the problem here. He wasn't worth $1 million. He was worth like $500,000 apparently. This is interesting to see Warrior go through this and the drama to come out. I mean, I'm not terribly surprised that it's happening like this. Considering the timing, if you will. But he's got to look like he's got a little egg on his face from that period of time. I mean, I understand. I can understand his perspective because it's like, hey, wait a minute here. I'm actually getting the torch passed to me, and I'm going to be the new Hulk Hogan. So I want to be paid like the new Hulk Hogan. But the problem with that is that he might have proved himself at a level where he could operate against Hulk Hogan, but he is not Hulk Hogan. And he did not realize that.
It's funny, if he thought he was going to be the next Hogan, he sure... You just got to remember he was fired shortly after, wasn't he?
He certainly learned how to behave like Hogan.
That's for sure.
I don't think Hogan is that much cracked out, though.
Well, the thing that gets me is that Vince basically capitulates and gives him pretty much everything he wanted. He agrees to the $550,000. He agrees to the time off. He increases his house show rates to 4 to 5% of the net, which would be whatever they take in, and then you subtract costs. He gets 45% 0.425% of that, and then no other WWF athlete gets paid more than him is part of the agreement. So anybody, if Hogan had come back, Hogan would have to get paid less than Warrior, or I guess the same as, according to this agreement.
Suspended him.
Yeah, well,
I just basically, and if you guys remember when we were talking a couple weeks ago, actually, a couple episodes ago, about how much people make, this is an interesting perspective on the money aspect of this business. I mean, it's really rude to talk about people and money and whatnot, but at the same time, it's very interesting to see the rough ballpark figures that people are throwing around, and with these letters coming out, it shows you exactly how frustrated Warrior was, exactly what his mentality was going into that pay-per-view, and it told you what kind of money that they were throwing around back in the early 90s, and relatively speaking, that's a lot of money.
Damn straight.
Yep.
Alright, so with that, let's now get into the 15-minute time limit. This week on the 15-minute time limit, we're going to talk about babies and baby wrestling. No, of course not. We're going to talk about the goddamn Royal Rumble. Alright, so...
I wanted baby wrestling.
I'm down for
I know
baby
you want
wrestling.
baby wrestling because you don't have a heart.
Baby fights.
Seriously,
Wrestling.
didn't we have that after Raw last night? I think it was called Friday Night Tykes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What the hell? You know what? I don't even want to.
We're going to go through the card here. We're going to go through the card here. We'll give our predictions because we give our predictions and we put them in the 4down, 4down.org, one of the websites that you can log into and make predictions. And if you are correct on 4down.org, you can win a fair sum of money via Amazon gift card. Okay.
Pay us money. We're advertising for you, 4down. We want money.
We like 4down. I mean, 4down's
I
a
want
pretty
4 to
cool service.
5% of the minutes.
I want 4 to
Yeah,
5%
take it easy,
of the traffic
Warrior.
that we drive towards 4down.org.
Okay, we're going to
I
start
was
off with...
number one on a TNA pay-per-view once.
You were, weren't you?
I don't think I think I might have hit random.
Alright.
So the card, the kickoff match, I especially like this one. It should be on the main event, but man, come on. Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus the New Age Outlaws for the WWE Tag Championships.
I'm predicting the New Age Outlaws taking the titles so that they can be transferred to, like, the Usos or something.
I believe Cody Rhodes and Goldust will win. It'll be clean. It'll be a great match because it'll be 3 veterans and Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes, hey, he's a pretty cool guy.
I agree. I agree. I think Cody and Goldust will defeat the New Age Outlaws, who I am very surprised how they're still able to work these days. And if you don't look at it too closely, Billy Gunn doesn't look like he's aged.
Damn
Not at
right,
all.
that's scary.
Not at all, except for his hairline.
Yeah, and, Road Dogg has a little gray in the beard, but other than that, he's still Road Dogg, and I think it's wonderful that they're back, and I hope they get an even longer contract renewal.
Well,
I don't
losing
think
for a
it'll be
while.
clean. I think the Outlaws will try to... They might low blow Goldust or something like that. But I do think the Rhodes will end up on top.
What was with JBL trying to deep six Cody last night on Raw? Stealing moves left, right, and center? Jesus.
Speaking of stolen, Randy Orton, the champion, versus John Cena, the challenger, for the WWE World Heavyweight title.
I don't give a fuck about this match. The only thing I give a fuck about is who is Carr.
Oh, good God.
It was Rikishi, duh.
Yeah, he did it for The Rock. He did it for the people.
Which means Randy Orton's going to win and face The Rock at WrestleMania. We're going to have
Jesus
this.
Christ.
I'm taking money that it's one of a couple people, It's going to be the guy they kicked out of Legacy and released from the company afterwards. It's going to be
What's that?
either that or Ted DiBiase, or it's going to be his dad.
Who was that?
Those are the three top suspects.
It was a Samoan guy, but I can't remember who it was.
Samu or something. Samu?
Samu, yeah.
Samu. That's it. Yeah, it was Samu. It was Ted DiBiase, or it was his dad. Come picking him up. And now, you're realizing that Randy Orton has his father pick him up from all his wrestling events and then ask him about what's going on. And he still has the goddamn cast.
All I saw was the urban SUV, and I figured it was his wife. But, I'm just going to say Orton. I'm probably not going to watch the match.
Orton's divorced just as well as Cena is.
Well, that tells you just how much I give a shit about Randy Orton.
Orton's going to win.
Orton wins, whatever.
Yeah.
Next
And it's
match.
going to be interference by somebody. Next match is Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt for ending a stupid feud that means nothing in the grand scheme.
What the hell is Bray, Husky, Wyndham, Rotunda doing against Daniel Bryan at one of the big 4 pay-per-views?
Bunny Cats is a dick? I don't know.
Being awesome because Bray Wyatt's actually fucking sweet.
He's terrible in the ring, though.
He's not. He's exactly what a guy that looks like him would be. I mean, you wouldn't.
Which is not great. I mean, it's okay.
I mean, well, you look at the other fat guys that have come through the WWE, and just about all of them were able to wrestle with greater skill and ability than Bray Wyatt. There's no excuses anymore. I mean, who are the other fat guys that have come through lately? I'd say in the last 15 years. Remember Big Show when he was fat? He wasn't that bad. Rikishi was way better. Prince Albert, when he got a bit too chubby, he was still great.
You realize he's like 6 years younger than you, right?
Who? Yeah, probably. I mean,
he's my
closer in
age.
the ring than he.
But he's my age, and he's still moving around like that. And I think that he still has a lot of room to grow. I mean, that's like people getting mad at Colin Kaepernick, for whatchamacallit, the best promo that I've seen outside the WWE in the past 2 years.
You know what I think the problem is? That both he and his brother got their wrestling ability from their mother's side.
Wait, his mother was a pro wrestler?
No.
Yeah, I know.
That's the joke.
Yeah. Next up, we have.
Let's agree on this at least. Someone of Daniel Bryan's ability shouldn't be facing guys like Wyatt. I'm actually kind of glad that they did end it, because it can be on the Royal Rumble card, which is traditionally a rather unimportant undercard, so they can get it over with. It's not going to be a great match, but at least they'll get it over with, basically.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yep.
And more contracts.
All right, so let's talk about Big Show
By the way, it was
versus
Manu, not Sam.
Oh, Manu. Whose kid is he, though?
Alpha.
Ah, see? Bring him back. There's not enough Samoan in my WWE right now. You've got Roman Reigns.
I think there's a lot of
Usos.
people that would disagree with you, because the Usos are being pushed on predominantly. But speaking of things that we probably don't give a fuck about, Big Show and Brock Lesnar.
Dude, whatever.
Good
Big
Lord,
Show's gonna
why?
kill him, and that'll be good, because Lesnar works good as a heel that comes on big but ends up getting punked in the ring. Everybody likes to see that.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say that this is a needed Lesnar win to heat him up for the WrestleMania season, so that he may take on Taker.
He breaks Big Show's arm. That's what I'm calling. He's going to put him in that.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
What is
I
that,
think so too.
Kimura?
I think,
Yep.
they have this penchant to make him lose to people like John Cena and Triple H, granted, but I think this match is very much to remind us that he's around and he can be nasty and get him ready for his WrestleMania match. And the fact he keeps getting punked out.
On the flip side, though, this could be a big, important Big Show win for him to challenge Undertaker at WrestleMania, because Big Show's really improved the last few years, and I'm shocked to see the guy had room to improve, but he really did. He's been getting trim. He's actually showing definition in those massive pecs of his now, and you never know. Maybe Big Show Taker at Mania would draw.
I think Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar would draw bigger than Big Show at this point. Not to say that wouldn't be a great match, nor that it shouldn't happen later on down the line. However, I don't believe that that's the money match that they're going for this year. I
actually kind of care about this match, if for no other reason than Big Show is one of the few people who is actually pretty comparable to Lesnar in size, and can probably spar with Lesnar without, Lesnar having to hold back, or else he'll, rip them apart.
And as long as he doesn't move backwards and trip over a television cable, he'll be just fine.
For the love of God, watch the stomach.
That was funny. Okay, so screw all that, because that isn't why we're buying, watching, or caring about this pay-per-view. And besides the potential return of a very, very fun game that we used to all play, that really, really fun one, Family Wood. Yeah, details on that later on in the show. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble match itself. Now, we have 20 competitors already listed here. I'm going to read them off in pretty quick succession, so follow along. You have Batista. You have CM Punk, who is confirmed first to enter the ring. You have Alberto Del Rio, Big E Langston, The Miz, R-Truth, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, Goldust, Cody Rhodes, Fandango, Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Damian Sandow, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and 10 unconfirmed names as of yet. So, let's start with those 10 unconfirmed names. Give me 10 names that you think are going to be in the Royal Rumble. I will start. Evan Bourne, Sheamus, Christian, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Chris Jericho. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark. Yeah, DY. Titus O'Neil.
That's 7.
I'm gonna take my big fantasy, cross fingers, probably not gonna happen, and say DDP.
That'd be fun. I'm going to say Roddy Piper.
Oh, if you really want to go with people who definitely aren't going to be there, but you wish were, being he just got released from TNA, why not AJ Styles?
That wouldn't work too well because I believe it's still a non-compete even.
I don't know. His contract expired. It didn't terminate.
It's the still sort of the same deal. I mean, you're not gonna let the person, if they structure it similarly, then you still, even if it expires, you can't just run into another show, immediately afterwards.
Well, he appeared for ROH. Wasn't that like an IP review or something?
Was it? I don't know. I could be wrong. Jim Duggan. He's gonna be
I
on
was
the
going to say
panel.
Ryback.
Oh God, Ryback. Well, I think actually. Yeah, that's 10.
There's the outside possibility that Daniel Bryan does jump in. I mean,
okay, so that's a question. Yeah, do you guys think D-Bar will jump in?
Well, we got R&D and Net Jester roboting. I don't think so. I think
It's Solomon Crow.
Ooh! Ooh!
the hell
We're
is
talking
that?
NXT people, then, 70 sure look good.
It'll be Bo Dallas. Sorry, guys.
Oh, God, that's what I was
for the
just
love
about
of
to
God.
say. That on the flip side.
No, I got it.
Dallas.
It's going to be Emma.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus.
If we're talking NXT, I want the freaking center in there.
I would love to see, like Tamina Snuka get in there, or AJ, or one of the divas that can wrestle.
That'd be funny if they got in there. Okay, so yeah, maybe millions of dollars. Okay, so there was a thread on Woo last night, and it was asking for the first 4 people in the Rumble. Who will be the first 4 people in the Rumble? Obviously CM Punk, but who comes after that?
Fandango. And then R-Truth. And number 4, I'm gonna say Eric Rowan.
I think one of the Shield will be in the first 4. Maybe Seth Rollins.
I think, I don't know, I'm pretty sure the Shield are going to enter close enough together, excuse me, so that they can, I'm sorry, I'm still fighting off this damn cough, so that they can dominate together. So I don't know if they're going to appear early.
Roman Reigns is going to have a big showing, so he might have to enter within the first 10 or so.
I do think that's a great idea. Roman Reigns is pretty good. He's good overall, I would say.
Okay, so the first
3 of them are good, but let's be honest.
My first 4 is going to be CM Punk, and then a returning Chris Jericho to repeat the moment that they had at 2009 Royal Rumble, and then it's going to be let's see here. I said Curtis Axel, and then Fandango or Kofi Kingston, one of the 2. Okay, winners. We have 1 minute left. RMD. Who's going to win the Royal Rumble?
I'm going to give it to Big E Langston.
Omega. Who's going to win the Royal Rumble?
I would be very surprised if it was anyone but Batista.
Yankum. Who's going to win the Royal Rumble?
Wow. Well, obviously my favorite isn't even in the Rumble, so probably Batista, or I don't know. It's got to be somebody in the
Did
the
you
top.
catch the less than a minute part?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Batista.
Jester. Who's going to win?
I'm still not entirely convinced being creative doesn't still hit us that it's not going to be Lobsterhead.
God damn it. Alright, so that's it for the 15-minute time limit. Still going to say Daniel Bryan. Fuck all you. Let's see where this goes, guys. But we're going to go to commercial. And Yankum, we're going to play after some music.
No, we ran out of time for music. The music I had was 2:36. We are at 2 minutes and 10, so we will be right back with segment 3 and possibly some music then.